for the Lord hath done that which he spake by his servant Elijah. So Jehu slew all that remained of the house of Ahab in Jezreel, and all his great men and his kinfolks and his priests, until he left them nothing remaining. And he arose, departed, and came to Samaria, and as he was at the shearer's table in the way, Jehu met him with the brethren of Ahaziah, king of Judah, and said, Who are you? And they answered, We are the brethren of Ahaziah, and we go down to salute the children of the king, the children of the queen. And he said, Take thee alive. And they took them alive and slew them at the pit of the shearing house, even 42 men, since neither left he any of them. And when he was departed thence, he lighted on Jehoiakim, the son of Reshah, coming to meet him. And he saluted him and said unto him, Is thine heart right, as my heart is with thy heart? And Jehoiada answered, It is. If it is, give me. Jehoiada answered, It is. If it is, give me thine hand. And he gave him his hand, and he took him up to him into the chariot. And he said, Come with me, and see my zeal for the Lord. So they made him ride in his chariot. And when he came to Samaria, he slew all that remained unto Ahab in Samaria, till he had destroyed him, according to the saying of the Lord, which he spake to Elijah. And Jehiel gathered all the people together, and said unto them, Ahab served Baal a little, but Jehu shall serve him much. Now therefore call unto me all the prophets of Baal, all his servants, and all his priests. Let none be wanting, for I have a great sacrifice to do to Baal. Whosoever shall be wanting, he shall not live. But Jehu did it in subtlety, for the intent that he might destroy the worshippers of Baal. And Jehu said, Proclaim a solemn assembly for Baal. And they proclaimed to it, and Jehu sent through all Israel. And all the worshippers of Baal came, so that there was not a man left that came not. And there came unto the house of Baal, and the house of Baal was full from one end to another. And he said unto him that was over the vestry, Bring forth vestments for all the worshippers of Baal. And he brought them forth vestments. And Jehiel went, and Jehoshaphat, the son of Rechab, unto the house of Baal, and said unto the worshippers of Baal, Search and look, that there be here with ye none of the servants of the Lord, but the worshippers of Baal only. And they went in to offer sacrifices and burnt offerings. And Jehiel appointed 80 men without, and said, If any of the men whom I have brought into your hands escape it, he that letteth him be this, his life shall be for the life of him. And it came to pass, as soon as he had made an end of the offering, the burnt offering, that Jehiel said to the guard and to the captain, Go in and slay them, let none come forth. And they smote them with the edge of the sword. And the guard and the captains cast them out, and went to the city of the house of Baal. And they brought forth the images out of the house of Baal, and burned them. And they break down the image of Baal, and break down the house of Baal, and made it a draught house unto this day. Thus Jehiel destroyed Baal out of Israel. Howbeit from the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin, Jehu departed not from after them, to wit, the golden calves that were in Bethel, and that were in Dan. And the Lord said unto Jehu, Because thou hast done well in executing that which is right in mine eyes, and that hast done unto the house of Ahab according to all that was in mine heart, thy children of the 4th generation shall sit on the throne of Israel. But Jehiel took no heed to walk in the law of the Lord, of the God of Israel, with all his heart. And he departed not from the sins of Jeroboam, which made Israel to sin. In those days the Lord began to cut Israel short, and Hazael smote them in all the coast of Israel. from Jordan eastward, all the lands of Gilgal, the Gittites, and the Reubenites, and the Manassites, from Rosa, which is the river Aaron, even Gilgal and Bashan, and the rest of the acts of Jehu, all that he did, and all his might, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Jehu slept with his fathers, and they buried him in Samaria, and Jehoshaphat, his son, reigned in his stead. And the time that Jehu reigned over Israel in Samaria was 28 years.
Jehu's not such a bad thing.
We're now at chapter 11 of 2 Kings. This is the word of the Lord. And when Hazael, the mother of Uzziah, saw that her son was dead, she arose and destroyed all the seed royal. But Jehoram, daughter of the king of Joram, sister of Uzziah, took Joram, the son of Hazael, and stole him from among the king's sons, which were slain, and they hid him, even him, and his nurse in the bedchamber so he was not slain. And he was with her, hid in the house of the Lord 6 years. And Hazael did reign over the land. In the 7th year of Jehoiada sent and fetched the rulers over hundreds with the captains and the guards, and brought him to them unto the house of the Lord, and made a covenant with them, and took an oath of them in the house of the Lord, and showed them the king's son. And he commanded them, saying, This is the thing that ye shall do. A third part of you that enter in on the Sabbath shall be the keepers of the watch of the king of the house. And a third part shall be to the gate of Sur, and a third part at the gate behind the guard. So shall ye keep the watch of the house, that it be not broken down. And 2 parts of all you that came forth on the Sabbath, even they shall keep from the watch of the house of the Lord about the king. And ye shall compass the king round about, every man with his weapons in his hand. And he that cometh with the ranges, let him be slain. And be ye with the king as he goeth out, as he cometh in. And the captains over the hundreds did according to all the things that Jehoiada the priest commanded, and they took every man his men that were come in on the Sabbath with them, that they should go out on the Sabbath and come to Jehoiada the priest. And to capture over hundreds did the priest give David spears and shields that were in the temple of the Lord. And the guard stood every man with his weapons in his hand round about the king, from the right corner of the temple to the left corner of the temple, along by the altar and the temple. And he brought forth the king's son, and he put a crown upon him, and gave him the testimony. And they made him king, and anointed him, and they clapped their hands, and said, God save the king. And when Hazael heard the noise of the guard and of the people, she came to the people into the temple of the Lord. And when she looked, behold, the king stood by a pillar, as the measure was, and the princes and the trumpeters by the king, and all the people of the land rejoiced and blew with the trumpets. And Hazael rent her clothes and cried, Treason! Treason! But Jehoiada and the priests commanded the captains of the hundreds, the officers of the host, and said unto them, Have her forth without the ranges, and him that followeth her kill with the sword. For the priest has said, Let her not be slain in the house of the Lord. And they laid hands on her, and she went by the way by which the horses came into the king's house, and there she was slain. And Jehoiada made a covenant between the Lord and the king of the people, that they should be the Lord's people, between the king also and the people. And all the people of the land went into the house of Baal, and brake it down, his altars and his images, and brake it in pieces thoroughly, and slew Mattan, the priest of Baal, before the altars, and the priests appointed officers over the house of the Lord. And he took the rulers over the hundreds, and the captains, and the guard, and all the people of the land. And they brought down the king from the house of the Lord, and came by the way of the gate of the guard to the king's house. And he sat on his throne of the kings. And all the people of the land rejoiced, and the city was in quiet. And they slew Athaliah with the sword beside the king's house. 7 years old was Joash when he began to reign. This is the word of the Lord, chapter 12 of 2 Kings. In the 7th year of Jehoash began to reign, and 40 years reigned he in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Zebidah of Beersheba. And Jehoash did that which was right in the sight of the Lord all his days, wherein Jehoiada the priest instructed him. But the high places were not taken away. The people still sacrificed and burnt incense in the high places. And Jehoash said to the priest, all the money of the dedicated things that is brought into the house of the Lord, even the money of everyone that passeth the account, the money that same man is set at, and all the money that cometh into any man's heart to bring into the house of the Lord. Let the priest take it to them, every man of his acquaintance, and let them repair the breaches of the house, whatsoever any breach shall be found. But it was so that in the 23 year of King Jehoash, the priest had not repaired the breaches of the house. Then King Jehoash called for Jehoiada the priest and the other priests, and said unto them, why repair ye not the breaches of the house? Now therefore receive no more money for your acquaintance, but deliver it for the breaches of the house. And the priest consented to receive no more money of the people, neither to repair the breaches of the house. But Jehoiada the priest took a chest, and bore a hole in the lid of it, and set it beside the altar in the right side, as one cometh into the house of the Lord. And the priest that kept the door put therein all the money that was brought into the house of the Lord. And it was so, when they saw that there was much money in the chest, that the king's scribe and the high priest came up, and they put up in bags, and told the money that was found in the house of the Lord. And they gave the money, being told, into the hands of them that did the work, and that had the oversight of the house of the Lord. And they laid it out in the carpenters, the builders that wrought unto the house of the Lord, and the masons and the hewers of stone, and to buy timber and hewed stone to repair the breaches of the house of the Lord, for all that was laid out of the house to repair it. Howbeit there was not made for the house of the Lord bowls of silver, snuffers, basins, trumpets, any vessels of gold are brought into the house of the Lord, that was brought into the house of the Lord. But they gave to the workmen, and repaired therewith the house of the Lord. Moreover, they reckoned not with the men into whose hand they delivered the money to be bestowed on the workmen, for they dealt faithfully. And the trespass money and sin money was not brought into the house of the Lord, it was the priest. Then Hazael, king of Syria, went down and fought against Gath, and took it. And Hazael set his face to go up to Jerusalem. And Jehoash, the king of Judah, took all the hallowed things that Jehoshaphat and Jehoram and Hazael and his fathers, kings of Judah, had dedicated, and his own hallowed things, and all the gold that was found in the treasuries of the house of the Lord, and in the king's house, and sent it to Hazael, king of Syria. And he went away from Jerusalem. And the rest of the acts of Joash and all he did are written in the book of the Chronicles to the kings of Judah. And his servants arose and made conspiracy, and slew Joash in the house of Milo, which goeth down to Shemaiah, where Joachar the son of Shemath and Jehoshaphat the son of Shomar, his servant, smote him, and he died, and they buried him with his fathers in the city of David, and Azamai his son reigned in his stead.
Whenever you get tired, let me know.
What time is it?
It is like 5 till 12.
No, yeah, it is.
So I've been at it a half hour.
No. I think you've been at it. You started at 11:05.
Oh, okay.
An hour now.
So you're getting ready to.
11.
I'll do
45 minutes you got.
I'll do 2 more chapters and my voice is given out.
All right. Bless you, brother.
This is 2 Kings 13. This is the word of the Lord. And in the 23rd year of Joash, the son of Uzziah, king of Judah, Jehoshaphat, the son of Jehu, began to reign over Israel in Samaria and reigned 17 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, and followed the sins of Jehoram, the son of Nebat, which made Israel to sin, and he departed not therefrom. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against Israel, and he delivered them into the hand of Hazael, king of Syria, and into the hand of Ben-Hadad, the son of Hazael, all their days. And Jehoash besought the Lord, and the Lord hearkened unto him, for he saw the oppression of Israel, because the king of Syria oppressed them. And the Lord gave Israel a Savior, so that they went out from under the hand of the Syrians, and the children of Israel dwelt in their tents as before time. Nevertheless, they departed not from the sins of the house of Jehoram, who made Israel sin, but walked therein, and there remained the grove also in Samaria. Neither did he leave the people to Jehoahaz, but 50 horsemen and 10 chariots and 10,000 footmen, for the king of Syria had destroyed them and made them like the dust by threshing. Now the rest of the acts of Jehoahaz and all that he did and his might, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Jehoahaz slept with his fathers, and they buried him in Samaria, and Joash his son reigned in his stead. In the 30th and 7th year of Joash king of Judah began Jehoash the son of Jehoahaz to reign over Israel in Samaria, and reigned 16 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. He departed not from all the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel sin, but he walked therein. And the rest of the acts of Joash and all that he did and his might were with, he fought against Ahaziah, king of Judah, and they are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Joash slept with his fathers, and Jehoram sat on his throne, and Joash was buried in Samaria with the king of Israel. Now Elisha was fallen sick of his sickness, wherefore he died. And Joash the king of Israel came down unto him, and wept over his face, and said, O my father, the chariot of Israel, and the horsemen thereof. And Elisha said unto him, Take bow and arrow. And he took unto him bow and arrows. And he said to the king of Israel, Pull thine hand upon the bow. And he put his hand upon it, and Elisha put his hand upon the king's hand. And he said, Open the window eastward, and he opened it. Then Elisha said, Shoot! And he shot. And he said, The arrow of the Lord's deliverance, and the arrow of the Lord's deliverance from Syria, for thou shalt smite the Syrians in Aphek, till they have consumed them. And he said, Take the arrows. And he took them. And he said unto the kings of Israel, Smite upon the ground. And he smote thrice, and stayed. And the man of God was wroth with him, and said, Thou shouldest have smitten 5 or 6 times. Then thou shalt have smitten Syria till thou hast consumed it. Whereas now thou shalt smite Syria but thrice. And Elisha died, and they buried him, and the battle of the Moabites invaded the land at the coming of the year. And it came to pass, as they were burying a man, that behold, they spied a band of men. And they cast the man into the sepulchre of Elisha. And when the man was let down and touched the bones of Elisha, he revived and stood up on his feet. But Hazael, the king of Syria, oppressed Israel all the days of Jehoahaz. And the Lord was gracious unto them, and had compassion on them, and respect unto them because of his covenant with Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and would not destroy them, neither cast he them from his presence as yet. So Hazael, king of Syria, died, and Benhadad his son reigned in his stead. And Jehoash the son of Jehoaz took out again the hand of Benhadad the son of Hazael the cities which he had taken out of the land of Jehoaz his father by war. 3 times did Joash beat him, and recovered the cities of Israel. I believe that's going to do it. We're on the 14th chapter. We just got 3 more.
Hello.
Hi guys.
How are you?
Good, how are you guys?
Blessed. Wonderful.
Praise the Lord. The family showed up.
Yeah. Got my back up. It's 14, right?
Thank you for your help with the spray. It's good to see you all this morning. I like your camel. Happy, happy, happy. What do you say, young man? See you.
What's your name, this guy back?
Been up all night.
Where's your running buddy at? Yes, thank you. That was my heart.
2 Kings chapter 14. In the 2nd year of Joash and Joash, the king of Israel, reigned, Amaziah, the son of Joash, king of Judah. He was 25 years old when he began to reign, and reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Joadam of Jerusalem. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, yet not like David his father. He did according to all things as Joash his father did. Albeit the high places were not taken away, as yet the people did sacrifice and burnt incense on the high places. And it came to pass, as soon as the kingdom was confirmed in his hand, that he slew his servants which had slain the king his father. But the children of the murderers he slew not, according unto that which is written in the book of the law of Moses, wherein the Lord commanded, saying, The fathers shall not be put to death for the children, nor the children be put to death for the fathers, but every man shall be put to death for his own sin. He slew of Edom in the valley of Salt 10,000, and took Selah by war, and called the name of it Jechiel unto this day. Then Amaziah sent messengers to Joash, the son of Jehoash, the son of Jehu, the king of Israel, saying, Come, let us look one another in the face. And Joash, the king of Israel, sent them Amaziah, king of Judah, saying, The thistle was in Lebanon, sent to the cedar that was in Lebanon, saying, Give thy daughter to my son to wife. And there passed by a wild beast that was in Lebanon, and trode down the thistle. Thou hast indeed smitten Edom, and thine heart has lifted thee up. Glory of this, and tarry at home? For why shouldst thou meddle to thy hurt? What there should thou fall, even thou with Judah with thee? And Amaziah would not hear. Before Joash, king of Israel, went up, he and Amaziah, king of Judah, looked one another in the face at Beth-shemesh, which belonged to Judah. And Judah was put to the worse before Israel, and they fled every man to their tents. And Joash, king of Israel, took Amaziah, king of Judah, and son of Joash, the son of Uzziah, at Beth-shemesh, and came to Jerusalem, and brake down the wall of Jerusalem, from the gate of Ephraim unto the corner gate, 400 cubits. And he took all the gold and the silver, and all the vessels that were found in the house of the Lord, and in the treasures of the king's house, and the hostages, and returned to Samaria. Now the rest of the acts of Joash which he did, and his might, and how he fought with Amaziah, king of Judah, and are they not written in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Joash slept with his fathers, and was buried in Samaria, and the kings of Israel, and Jeroboam his son reigned in his stead. And Amaziah the son of Joash, king of Judah, lived after the death of Joash of Joash, the king of Israel, 15 years. And the rest of the acts of Amaziah are not they written in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Judah. Now they made a conspiracy against him in Jerusalem, and he fled to Lachish. But they sent after him to Lachish, and they slew him there. They brought on him with horses, and he was buried at Jerusalem with his fathers in the city of David. And all the people of Judah took Azariah, which was 16 years old, and made him king instead of his father Amaziah. And he built Aath and restored it to Judah. After that the king slept with his fathers. In the 15th year of Amaziah, the son of Joash, king of Judah, Jeroboam, the son of Joash, king of Israel, began to reign in Samaria, and reigned 41 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, and he departed not from all the sins of Jeroboam, the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. He restored the coast of Israel from the entering of Hamath unto the sea of the plain, according to the word of the Lord God of Israel, which he spoke by the hand of his servant Jonah, the son of Amittai, the prophet, which is Gath-Tefer. For the Lord saw the affliction of Israel, for it was very bitter, for there was not any shut up, nor any left, nor any helper for Israel. And the Lord said not that he would blot out the name of Israel from under the heaven, but he saved them by the hand of Jeroboam, the son of Joash. Now the rest of the acts of Jeroboam, and all he did, in his might, how he warred, how he recovered Damascus and Hamath, which belonged to Judah for Israel, are they not written in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Israel? And Jeroboam slept with his fathers, even with the king of Israel, and Zechariah his son reigned in his stead. 2 Kings chapter 15. In the 27th year of Jeroboam king of Israel begat Azariah the son of Amaziah king of Judah to reign. 16 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned 52 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jechaliah of Jerusalem. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his father Amaziah had done, save that the high places were not removed. The people sacrificed, and they burnt incense still on the high places. The Lord smote the king so that he was a leper unto the days of his death, and dwelt in several houses. And Jotham the king's son was over the house, judging the people of the land. And the rest of the acts of Azariah and all that he did, are they not written in the books of Chronicles of the kings of Judah? So Azariah slept with his fathers, and they buried him with his fathers in the city of David. And Jotham his son reigned in his stead. In the 38th year of Azariah king of Judah did Zechariah the son of Jeroboam reign over Israel in Samaria 6 months. He did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, and his fathers had done. He departed not from the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. And Shallum the son of Jabesh conspired against him, and smote him before the people, and slew him before he reigned in his stead. And the rest of the acts of Zechariah, behold, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel. This was the word of the Lord which he spake unto Jehu, saying, Thy son shall sit on the throne of Israel unto the 4th generation. And so it came to pass. Shallum the son of Jabesh began to reign in the 9 and 13th year of Uzziah king of Judah, and he reigned a full month in Samaria. For Menahem the son of Gadi went up from Tirzah, and came to Samaria, and smote Shallum the son of Jabesh in Samaria, and slew him. And they reigned in his stead. And the rest of the acts of Shallum and his conspiracy which he made, behold, they are written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel. And Menahem smote and Tipshah, and all that were therein, and the coast therein from Tirzah, because they opened it not to him. Therefore he smote it, and all the women thereof, they were with the child he ripped up. In the 9 and 13th year of Azariah king of Judah, began Menahem the son of Gadi to reign over Israel, and reigned 10 years in Samaria. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, and departed not in his days from the sins of Jeroboam the sons of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. And Pul the king of Assyria came against the land, and Menahem gave Pul 1,000 talents of silver, that his hand might be with him to confirm the kingdom in his hand. And Menahem exacted the money of Israel, even all the mighty men of the wealth, gave each man 50 shekels of silver to give to the king of Assyria. So the king of Assyria turned back and stayed not there in the land. The rest of the acts of Menahem, all that he did, are not written in the book of Chronicles of the kings of Israel. And Menahem slept with his fathers, and Pekahiah his son reigned in his stead. In the 15th year of Azariah king of Judah, Pekahiah the son of Menahem began to reign over Israel in Samaria, and reigned there 2 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, and departed not from the sins of Jeroboam the son of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. But Pekah the son of Remaliah, captain of his, conspired against him, and smote him in Samaria, in the place of the king's house, with Argob and Argai, and with him 50 men of the Gileadites, and he killed him, and reigned in his room. And the rest of the acts of Pekahiah, and all that he did, behold, they are written in the book of Chronicles of the king of Israel. In the 52nd year of Azariah king of Judah, Pekah the son of Remaliah began to reign over Israel in Samaria, and reigned 22 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord. He departed not from the sins of Jeroboam the sons of Nebat, who made Israel to sin. In the days of Pekah, king of Israel, came Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, and I took Ajon, and Abel-Samah, and Johanna, and Kadesh, and Hazor, and Gilead, and Galilee, and all the land of Naphtali, and carried them captive to Assyria. And Hoshea the son of Elah made a conspiracy against Pekah the son of Remaliah, and smote him, and slew him, and reigned in his stead. In the 20th year of Jotham the son of Uzziah, and the rest of the acts of Pekah, and all that he did, behold, they're written. Huh? Yeah, boy. Love you. The rest of the acts of Pekah and all that he did, behold, they are written in the books of the Chronicles of the kings of Israel. In the 2nd year of Pekah, the son of Remaliah, the king of Israel, began Jotham, the son of Uzziah, king of Judah, to reign. 25 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned 16 years in Jerusalem. And his mother's name was Jerusha, the daughter of Zadok. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord. And he did according to all that his father Uzziah had done. However, the high places were not removed. The people sacrificed and burned incense still in the high places. He built the higher gate of the house of the Lord. Now the rest of the acts of Jotham, and all that he did, they are not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah. In those days the Lord began to send against Judah Rezin the king of Syria, and Pekah the son of Remaliah, and Jotham slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David his father, and Ahaz his son reigned in his stead. 2 Kings chapter 16. In the 17th year of Pekah the son of Remaliah, Ahaz the son of Jotham king of Judah began to reign. 20 years old was Ahaz when he began to reign, and reigned 16 years in Jerusalem, and did not that which was right in the sight of the Lord his God, like David his father. But he walked in the way of the kings of Israel, yea, and made his son to pass through the fire, according to the abominations of the heathen, whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel. And he sacrificed and burnt incense in the high places, and on the hills, and on their every green tree. Then Rezin king of Syria, and Pekah son of Remaliah king of Israel, came up to Jerusalem to war. And they besieged Ahaz, but they could not overcome him. At the time Rezin king of Syria recovered Elath to Syria, and drove the Jews from Elath, and the Syrians came to Elath and dwelt there unto this day. So Ahaz sent messengers to Galatha, Pizur, the king of Assyria, saying, I am thy servant and thy son. Come up and save me out of the hand of the king of Syria, and out of the hand of the king of Israel, which rises up against me. And Ahaz took the silver and the gold that was found in the house of the Lord, and in the treasures of the king's house, and sent it for a present to the king of Assyria. The king of Assyria hearkened unto him, for the king of Assyria went up against Damascus, and took it, and carried the people of its captive to Kir, and slew Rezin. And the king Ahaz went to Damascus to meet Tiglath-Pileser, king of Assyria, and saw an altar that was at Damascus. And King Ahaz sent to Urijah the priest the fashion of the altar and the pattern of it, according to all the workmanship thereof. Urijah the priest built an altar according to all the king Ahaz had sent from Damascus. Urijah the priest made it against King Ahaz, came from Damascus. When the king was come from Damascus, the king saw the altar, and the king approached to the altar and offered thereon. And he burnt his burnt offering, his meat offering, and poured his drink offering, and sprinkled the blood of his peace offering upon the altar. He brought also the brazen altar, which was before the Lord, from the forefront of the house, from between the altar and the house of the Lord. He put it on the north side of the altar. And King Ahaz commanded Urijah the priest, saying, Upon the great altar burn the morning burnt offering, and the evening meat offering, and the king's burnt sacrifice, and his meat offering, with the burnt offering of all the people of the land, and their meat offering, and their drink offering, and sprinkle upon it all the blood of the burnt offering, and all the blood of the sacrifice, and the brazen altar shall be for me to inquire by. Thus did Urijah the priest, according to all that King Ahaz commanded. And King Ahaz cut off the borders of the bases, and removed the laver from off of them, and took down the sea from off the brazen oxen that were under it, and put it upon a pavement of stones. And the cover for the Sabbath that they had built in the house, and the king's entry without, turned he from the house of the Lord for the king of Assyria. Now the rest of the acts of Ahaz, which he did, are they not written in the book of the Chronicles of the kings of Judah? And Ahaz slept with his fathers, and was buried with his fathers in the city of David, and Hezekiah his son reigned in his stead. Wow. 2 Kings chapter 17. In the 12th year of Ahaz, king of Judah, begat Hoshea the son of Elah to reign in Samaria over Israel 9 years. And he did that which was evil in the sight of the Lord, but not as the kings of Israel that were before him. Against him came up Shalmaneser, seer of Assyria, and Hoshea became his servant, and gave him presents. And the king of Assyria found conspiracy in Hoshea, for he had sent messengers. So king of Egypt had brought no present to the year of Assyria, as he had done year by year. Therefore the king of Assyria shut him up, and bound him in prison. Then the king of Assyria came up throughout all the land, and went up to Samaria, and besieged it there 3 years. In the 9th year of Hoshea, the king of Assyria took Samaria, and carried Israel away into Assyria, and placed them in Elal, in a harbor by the river of Goshen, by the cities of the Medes. For it was so that the children of Israel had sinned against the Lord their God, which brought them up out of the land of Egypt, from under the hands of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and feared other gods, and walked in the statutes of the heathen, whom the Lord cast out from before the children of Israel, and made the king of Israel which they had made. And the children of Israel did secretly those things were not right against the Lord their God, and they built them high places in their city, from the tower of the watchman to the fenced city. And they set every one of them images and groves in every high hill and under every green tree. And there they burnt incense in all the high places, and did the heathen, whom the Lord carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke the Lord to anger. For they served idols, whereof the Lord had said unto them, Ye shall not do this thing. Yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets and by all the seers, saying, Turn ye from your evil ways, and keep my commandments and my statutes, according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, which I sent to you by my servants the prophets. Notwithstanding, they would like to hear, but they're hardened their necks, like to believe, like the neck of their fathers, and do not like to believe the Lord their God. And they rejected his statutes and his covenants, and that he made with their fathers, and his testimonies which he testified against them. They followed vanity, and became vain, and went after heathen, and were round about them, concerning whom the Lord had charged them that they should not do like them. And they left all the commandments of the Lord their God, and made them old images, even 2 calves, and made a grove, and worshipped all the hosts of heaven, and served Baal. They caused their son and their daughters to pass through the fire. They used divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil in the sight of the Lord, to provoke him to anger. Thanks, bro. Therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel, and removed him out of his sight. There was none left but the tribe of Judah only. There was none left but the tribe of Judah. Lost my place. There was none left but the tribe of Judah. I lost my place.
Guess the phone's burning up.
Yeah. And the children of Israel did secretly those things that were not right in the Lord their God. They built them high places in their cities, from the tower of the watchman in the fenced city. They set them in with images and groves in every high hill and under every green tree. And there they burned incense in all the high places, and into the heathen whom the Lord carried away before them, and wrought wicked things to provoke the Lord to anger. They served idols, whereof the Lord had said to them, "You shall not do this thing." Yet the Lord testified against Israel and against Judah by all the prophets, by all the seers, saying, "Turn ye from your evil ways to keep my commandments and my statutes according to all the law which I commanded your fathers, which I sent to you by my servants the prophets." Notwithstanding they would not hear, but hardened their necks like the neck of their fathers, and did not believe in the Lord their God. They rejected his statutes and his covenants, and they made it with their fathers and his testimonies which he testified against them. They followed vanity, became vain, and went after the heathen that were round about them, concerning whom the Lord had charged them, that they should not do like them. And they left all the commandments of the Lord their God, and made them multitude of images, even 2 calves, made a grove, and worshipped all the hosts of heaven, and served Baal. And they caused their son to daughters to pass through the fire, and used divination and enchantments, and sold themselves to do evil inside the Lord, to provoke them to anger. Therefore the Lord was very angry with Israel, removed them out of his sight, and there was none left but the tribe of Judah only. So Judah kept not the commandments of the Lord their God, but walked in the statutes of Israel which they made. The Lord rejected all the seed of Israel, afflicted them, and delivered them into the hands of the spoilers. He had cast them out of his sight. For he rent Israel from the house of David, and they made Jeroboam the son of Nebat king. And Jeroboam drove Israel from following the Lord, and made them sin a great sin. For the children of Israel walked in all the parts of Jeroboam which he did, until they departed not from them, until the Lord removed Israel out of his sight, as he had said by all his servants of the prophets. So was Israel carried away out of their own land to Syria, and to this day. And the king of Assyria brought men from Babylon, from Cuthath, and from Ava, from Hamath, and from Sepharvaim, and placed them in the cities of Samaria, instead of the children of Israel. And they possessed Samaria, and dwelt in the cities thereof. So it was at the beginning of their dwelling there, that they feared not the Lord. Therefore the Lord sent lions among them, which slew some of them. Therefore they spake to the king of Assyria, saying, The nations which thou hast removed, the places in the city of Samaria, know not the manner of the God of the land, where he had sent lions among them, and behold, they slay them, because they know not the manner of the God of the land. And the king of Assyria commanded, saying, Carry thither one of the priests whom ye brought from thence, and let them go and dwell there, and let God teach them the manner of the gods of the land. And one of the priests whom they had carried away from Samaria came and dwelt in Bethel, and taught them how they should fear the Lord. Howbeit, every nation made gods of their own, and they put them in the houses of the high places which the Samaritans had made, and every nation in their cities dwelled therein. And the men of Babylon made Succoth Benoth, and the men of Cuth made Negral, and the men of Hamath made Ashima, and Evites made Nebaz, and Nartak, and Servites, and burnt their children in the fire to Abimelech, and Adamelech, and the gods of Seravam. So they feared the Lord, and made unto themselves to the lowest places of them priests of the high places, who sacrificed for them in the houses of the high places. They feared the Lord, and served their own gods after the manner of the nations, whom they carried away from thence. And to this day they do after the former manners, and they fear not the Lord, neither do they have the statutes, or after their ordinances, or after their law and commandments. Can you give me, buddy? Give me my bag over there. Give me one of those cough drops. This is what the Lord commanded the children of Jacob, whom he named Israel, with whom the Lord had made a covenant, and charged them, saying, You shall not fear other gods, nor bow yourselves to them, nor serve them, nor sacrifice to them. For the Lord who brought you up out of the land of Egypt, with a great power, stretched out his arm, him shall you fear, him shall you worship, to him shall you do sacrifice. The statutes and the ordinances, in that bag right there. Yep, there's one of them open. And the ordinances of the law and the commandments which he wrote for you, you shall observe to do forevermore. You shall not fear other gods. And the covenant that I have made with you you shall not forget. Neither shall ye fear other gods, but the Lord your God shall fear, and he shall deliver you out of the hand of all your enemies. Yep, one of those. Give me one. Howbeit they did not hearken, for they did after their former manner. So these nations feared the Lord, and served their graven images, both their children and the children's children, as they did their fathers, so do they unto this day. 2 Kings chapter 18. I don't need those up here. Give me a couple of them. Throw them up here. Take that. Trash. Now it came to pass in the 3rd year of Hosea, the son of Elah, king of Israel, that Hezekiah, the son of Ahaz, the king of Judah, began to reign. 25 years old was he when he began to reign, and he reigned 29 years in Jerusalem. His mother's name also was Abi, the daughter of Zechariah. And he did that which was right in the sight of the Lord, according to all that his father David did. He removed the high places, and he brake down the images, and cut down the groves, and brake in pieces the brazen serpent that Moses had made. For unto those days the children of Israel did burn incense to it, and he called it Nehushtan. He trusted in the Lord God of Israel, so that after him was none like him among all the kings of Judah, nor any that were before him. For he clave to the Lord, and departed not from the following him, but kept his commandments, which the Lord commanded Moses. And the Lord was with him, and he prospered wheresoever he went forth. And he rebelled against the king of Assyria, and served him not. He smote the Philistines, even into Gaza, and the borders thereof, from the tower of the watchman of the fenced city. And it came to pass in the 4th year of King Hezekiah, the 17th year of Hosea, the son of Elah, king of Israel, that Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, came up against Samaria, and besieged it. And at the end of the 3 years they took it, even in the 6th year of Hezekiah, that is the 9th year of Hosea, king of Israel, Samaria was taken. And the king of Assyria did carry away Israel into Assyria, and put them in Halah, in Habor, by the river Gazan, in the cities of the Medes, because they obeyed not the voice of the Lord their God, but transgressed his covenant, and all that Moses, the servant of the Lord, commanded, and would not hear them, nor do them. Now in the 14th year of the king Hezekiah did Sennacherib, the king of Assyria, come up against all the fenced cities of Judah, and he took them. And Hezekiah, king of Judah, sent to the king of Assyria to Lachish, saying, I have offended, return from me. That which thou puttest on me will I bear. And the king of Assyria appointed to Hezekiah, king of Judah, 300 talents of silver, and 30 talents of gold. And Hezekiah gave him all the silver that was found in the house of the Lord, and in the treasures of the king's house. And at that time did Hezekiah cut off the gold from the doors of the temple of the Lord, and from the pillars which Hezekiah, king of Judah, had overlaid, and gave it to the king of Assyria. And the king of Assyria sent Tartan, and Rabsaras, Rabshakeh, from Lachish to King Hezekiah with a great host against Jerusalem. And they went and came to Jerusalem. And when they were come up, they came and they stood by the conduit of the upper pool, which is in the highway of the fuller's field. When they had called to the king, there came out to them Eliakim, the king of Alchai, which is over the household of Shibnah the scribe, and Joah the son of Asaph the recorder. And Rabshakeh said unto them, Speak ye now to Hezekiah. Thus saith the great king, the king of Assyria, What confidence is this wherein thou trustest? Now saith, but they are vain words, I have counsel and strength for the war. Now on whom dost thou trust? Thou rebellest against me. Now behold, thou trust upon the staff of this bruised reed, even upon Egypt, on the which if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, unto all that trust on him. But if ye say unto me, We trust in the Lord our God, is not that he, whose high places and whose altars Hezekiah had taken away, and hath said unto Judah and Jerusalem, Ye shall worship before this altar in Jerusalem. Now therefore I pray thee, give pledges to my lord, the king of Assyria, and I will deliver thee 2,000 horses, if thou be able to on thy part set riders upon them. How then wilt thou turn away from the face of one captain of the least of my master's servants, and put thy trust on Egypt for chariots and for horsemen? Am I now come up without the Lord against this place to destroy it? And the Lord said to me, Go up against this land and destroy it. And he said to Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah, and Shebna, and Joah, and Rabshakeh, Speak, I pray thee, to the servants in the Syrian language, for we understand it, and we talk not with us in the Jews' language, in the ears of the people that are on the wall. Rabshakeh said unto them, Hath my master sent me to thy master? Had thee to speak these words? Have thee not sent me to the men which sit on the wall? They may eat with their own dung, and drink their own piss with you. The Rabshakeh stood and cried with a loud voice in the Jews' language, and spake, saying, Hear the word of the great king, the king of Assyria. Thus saith the king, Let not Hezekiah deceive you, for he shall not be able to deliver you out of his hand. Neither let Hezekiah make you trust in the Lord, saying, The Lord will surely deliver us, and this city shall not be delivered in the hand of the king of Assyria. Hearken not to Hezekiah, for thus saith the king of Assyria, Make an agreement with me by a present, and come out to me, and then eat every man of his own vine, and every one of his fig tree, and drink every one in the waters of the cistern, until I come to take you away to a land that's your own land, a land of corn, a land of wine, a land of bread, and of vineyards, and a land of olive oil, and of honey, that you may live and not die. And hearken not unto Hezekiah when he persuades you, saying, The Lord will deliver us. Have any of the gods of the nations deliver at all his land out of the hand of the king of Assyria? Where are the gods of Hamath, of Arpad? Where are the gods of Seraphim, Hinah, and Ivah? Have they delivered Samaria out of thine hand? Who are among all the gods of the countries that have delivered their country out of mine hand, that the Lord should deliver Jerusalem out of mine hand? But the people held their peace, and they answered him not a word. So the king's commandment was, saying, Answer him not. Then came Eliakim, the son of Hilkiah, which was over the household, Shebna the scribe, and Joah the son of Asaph the recorder, to Hezekiah with their clothes rent, and told him the words of Rabshakeh. 2 Kings chapter 19. And it came to pass when King Hezekiah heard it, then he rent his clothes, and he covered himself with sackcloth, and went into the house of the Lord. And he sent Eliakim, which was over the household, and Shebna the scribe, and the elders of the priests, covered with sackcloth, to Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amoz. And they said unto him, Thus saith Hezekiah, This is the day of trouble, and of rebuke, and of blasphemy. The children are come to the birth, and there is not strength to bring it forth. It may be the Lord thy God will hear all the words of Rabshakeh unto the king of Assyria, his master has sent to reproach the living God, and will reprove the words which the Lord thy God has heard. Wherefore lift up thy prayer for the remnant that are left. So the servants of King Hezekiah came unto Isaiah, and Isaiah said unto them, Thus shall ye say to your master, Thus says the Lord, Be not afraid of the words thou heardst, which the servants of the king of Assyria have blasphemed me. Behold, I will send a blast upon them, and he shall hear a rumor, and shall return in his own land, and I will cause him to fall by the sword in his own hand. So Rabshakeh returned and found the king of Assyria warring against Libnah, for he had heard that he was departed from Lachish. And when he heard this, Tirkah, king of Ethiopia, behold, he is come out to fight against thee. He sent messengers unto Hezekiah, saying, Thus shall you speak to Hezekiah, king of Judah, saying, Let not thy God, in whom I trust, deceive thee, saying, Jerusalem shall not be delivered into the hand of the king of Assyria. Behold, thou hast heard what the king of Assyria has done to all the lands, by destroying them utterly, and shall not be delivered. Have the gods of the nations delivered them which my fathers have destroyed, as Gozan, and Haran, and Joseph, and the children of Eden, which were in Telsars? Where is the king of Hamath? Where is the king of Arpad? And the king of the city of Seraphim, and Hinah, and Ivah? And Hezekiah received the letter of the hand of the messengers, and he read it. Verse 14. Hezekiah received the letter in the hand of the messengers and read it. And Hezekiah went up into the house of the Lord and spread it before the Lord. Hezekiah prayed before the Lord and said, O Lord God of Israel, which dwellest between the cherubim, thou art God. Even thou alone of all the kingdoms of the earth, thou hast made the heavens and the earth. Lord, bow down thine ear and hear. Open, Lord, thine eyes and see. And hear the war of Sennacherib, which God has sent to the approach of the living God. Of a truth, Lord, the king of Assyria have destroyed the nations and their lands. And they have cast their gods into the fire, for they were no gods. For the work of the men's hands, wood and stone, therefore they have destroyed them. Now therefore, O Lord God, I beseech thee to save us out of his hand, that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that thou art the Lord God, even thou only. Then Isaiah the son of Amoz sent to Hezekiah, saying, Thus saith the Lord God of Israel, that which thou hast prayed to me against.
And Isaiah said, Take a lump of figs. And they took and laid it on the boil, and he recovered.